day to David and said to him, "Go up, erect an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusite." So David, according to the word of God, went up as the Lord had commanded him. Now Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming toward him. And Araunah went out and bowed before the king with his face to the ground. Then Araunah said, "Why hath the Lord the king come to his servant?" And David said, "To buy the threshing floor from you, to build an altar to the Lord, that the plague may be withdrawn from the people." Now Araunah, a.k.a. Ordan, said to David, "Let my lord, the king, take and offer up whatever seems good to him. Look, here are oxen for burnt sacrifices, and threshing implements, that yokes of the oxen for wood." Verse 23, "All these, O king," a.k.a. Ordan, "has given to the king." And Ordan said to the king, "May the Lord your God accept you." Then the king, David, said to Ordan, "No, but I will surely buy it from you for a price. Nor will I offer burnt offerings to the Lord my God with that which cost me nothing." So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. You may be seated. If you need a subject topic, you can write down "living the life of worship." Write that down. Living the life of worship. Say it with me. Say living. Oh, that didn't sound like everybody. Say living the life of worship. That's what we're going to talk about. Worship is a verb, and the word is a word of action. It means to motivate by a desire to honor another. To motivate. It's a word, an action word that motivates one by a desire to honor someone else. To worship is to honor. To worship is to reverence. To worship is to glorify. To worship is to acknowledge. To worship is to bless. To worship is to give glory to. We were created, according to Isaiah chapter 43, to worship. The Bible says the chief end of man, God created you simply for the purpose of worship. It's part of your nature. Now, we all worship differently, and some of us worship different things. But everybody worships, whether it's passion or success or pleasure or political cause or idols or people or oneself. But we all have worshiped. But everybody was created to worship. Worship is part of who God requires us to be. Worship symbolizes an external and an internal attitude of devotion. And God requires that you make him the devotion.